Hello and welcome to another episode of Truly Bedrock with me, Mr. Beardstone. Today, we've got some more things to be doing in this bunker. So between episodes we have made a small amount of progress, but most of the progress we need to make is going to involve a lot more concrete, and the problem with that is the only concrete maker we have involves us constantly going over to Foxy's base. As a result, if we drop down here, you will see where I've been working. So I've actually been creating myself my own little concrete maker down here. But we've still got a long way to go. So currently we have the white section here, which is 64 blocks long, and you'll see where the floor turns to red. That's the next section of 64. And I don't really know how many I'm going to put in here, but I'm definitely going to get 2 more in before I can really make a decent amount of concrete. We started this on a recent stream, and so far we've done the white section, and I've done the start of the red section here as well. Obviously not the ceiling at this stage, as you can clearly see, but we can at least chop concrete in here. What I do intend on doing eventually is having possibly 9 sections, so sort of 9 stacks long, which is about 570 something blocks long in the entire tunnel. So that's the kind of length that I think we want to go for. But for now, we just need to get 3 or 4 working sections so we can actually make some concrete. Because I can't do the ceiling up here because I'm using powder for the walls and then making it wet. So yeah, the quicker I can get another 2 sections in, the quicker I can get the walls done, then I can get the ceiling in, and we will have at least a semi-decent size. We'll be able to do 4 stacks at a time, which is much more than we can currently do, which, well, I suppose it's 2 now. It was 0, but now it's 2. So the first thing we're going to do is actually continue with this and see what we can do. So I need to go grab a few more resources, and I will see you back here in just a moment. So I've got myself 2 shulkers of white concrete powder, and I've got enough here to be able to do an orange and a yellow section as well. The one thing I didn't bring with me was the red concrete for putting on the roof. So the reason I'm doing it in different sections is so that I know sort of how far I've gone, how much further I've got to go. It's more of a visual reference than anything else, and to prevent it from basically just being a really long white tunnel. So the plan is to have these strips down the bottom here, which will be red, then orange, then yellow, at the start anyway, and on the ceiling that will also be reflected, so we'll have a red ceiling, we'll have a yellow ceiling, and so on. As well as the 3 shulkers of resources here, I also have 5 empty shulkers, which is going to be to put all the stone and dirt and everything else we're going to get out of this, because this is basically half the length. So here to where you can see at the moment is half the length we need to cover. So yeah, we've got lots of digging to do. So the first thing we're going to do is dig that out, and then we're just going to crack on with the rest of the build. Short while later, and we have got the tunnel done, at least for now anyway. So we have, as I say, enough for 4 sets. I've actually changed the first section to brown because when it was white, once I got all these carpets on, which I had to do because of slimes, which was something I didn't originally consider when I decided to build it down at this level, but it's okay, we've solved that problem now. But it looked really weird when it was all just white, and then suddenly it started getting colour. So I've actually changed this first section to brown, and what we're going to do is I'll quickly show you how this works. So if you want to know all the ins and outs of this and why this is a good way to do it, then do check out Foxy No Tail's video. It's actually his farm that I've copied here. And what we're going to do now is just show you how it works. So I can quite simply just run backwards nice and fast because of the soul sand and the soul speed. plant all of my concrete like this, and then simply chop it all back. So as I say, so far we've only done 4 sections. We've got the yellow section, then the orange section, and then we've got the red section, and lastly the brown. But eventually I do want to add probably about another 5 sections, and we can keep going that way as far as we like, because it just goes under the ocean for about 1,500 blocks in that direction. So we're not going to be interfering with anyone else's base or digs or anything like that, which is just marvellous. The last thing we did was to put in a cheaty furnace over here, because the soul speed on our boots means that our boots get worn out pretty quickly when using this thing, and this means we can just come back here, heal our boots whenever we need. However, I didn't have any fish to put in it. What I did have, however, was cactus. Lots and lots of cactus, but you don't get as much XP from cactus as you do from fish. So we're actually putting 3 double chests of cactus through this thing. I've actually been AFK here for a couple of hours so far, just waiting for this to actually fill up, and it looks like it's going to be a long time before that's actually finished. But once it is, we're going to have an XP furnace right here, so we can just start healing our boots and so on. In the meantime, I suppose we could put a lever on the front, just so we can use it while it's still kind of in production. It just means we're not going to get as much XP from it in one hit. So speaking of fish, the next thing for us to do is to make our fish and squid farm. So in order to make our fish and squid farm, we are going to need a fair amount of magma blocks, and I don't think we've actually got enough. I think I've worked out we're going to need a minimum of 8 stacks, and we have got... not 8 stacks. How many have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4. We have got 5 and a bit stacks. So first things first, we're going to need to go to the Nether and do some mining. Once we've got the magma we need to decide where we're going to put our farm. And I think it makes sense for us to actually put it over here where our mob farm is, because that way when we're AFK at the mob farm, which is just over here, we can also be getting fish from over this side. So this platform here is a 2-chunk platform, and that's basically what we're going to need to make for the fish farm as well. And I'm thinking of putting it pretty much adjacent to where this one is, because we need to make sure that it's not being covered by the ceiling. So we are going to have to move it out this way a little bit. And to be honest, I can't remember if I chunk aligned this one or not. I feel like I did and probably should have done, but whether I actually did or not is a completely different question. So we will get the chunk borders back on while we do this and make sure that we actually chunk align everything, because we don't want our minecarts disappearing at all. So I'm going to go and get the things that we need to make this work, and then we're probably going to cut to a time lapse of having this built. It's a fairly straightforward thing. You basically just have the magma cubes with a couple of layers of water on top with a hopper minecart below, but I'll show you that once it's done. In the meantime, I've been flying in the wrong mode, and now I'm lost. I literally have no idea where I am. Oh dear. Why do I always do this? Oh, right, okay, we're over by Mr. Onions. I have no idea how we got here. Yeah, let's head home. So I was about to say, we're going to go get some magma, and then we're going to build this farm. So enjoy this time-lapse, and I will see you soon. And just like that, we have ourselves a fish and squid farm. So this thing is very effective, as you can see. Even standing here, it's already spawning things. The further away I get, however, the less fish I'll get and the more squid. At least I think that's how it works. It's a very simple farm, just making use of the fact that magma blocks can pull stuff down and a couple of layers of water, so the fish and squid and sometimes even dolphins spawn in here. They get pulled down onto the magma blocks and they die. We then have minecarts running around underneath on a track that goes back and forth, and that just collects all of the drops from the magma. That all then feeds into these hoppers here, which then feed into this massive stack of chests, and as you can see here, we have lots of stuff. So I've actually just taken all the ink out already, so if we have a look here, this is in probably about an hour and a half worth of running the farm to 2 hours running the farm, and we have got a lot of ink. That's what, 15 stacks, 14 stacks of ink there? So this thing is going to be very productive for us, and the best thing was, while we were AFK there, we were also getting drops from our mob farm over here. So yeah, standing there is now even better than it used to be. And best thing is, we now have lots and lots of black ink. So now we've got black and white ink covered, we've also covered the greys, and then we've also got our red, yellow, purple, and orange, pink, magenta. We've got all that covered because we get our blue from the lapis. We've also got our dark green covered from the cactus, which means we can get our cyan. So the only things we're actually still missing now are brown, which means we need to grow some cocoa beans somewhere, which I suppose we could do along this back wall. And we also need a better way to get pickles. So I know we have our little pickle contraption over in the shopping district, which is all well and good, but with the amount of pickles we've been selling lately, I've spent a lot of time there. So I'm wondering if we can maybe automate the process a little bit more. And to do that, I think we're probably going to put a farm in over here. So I need to decide exactly where I want to put it. I don't know quite how big it's going to be, and I need to work out some stuff in Redstone. So I'm probably going to hop over to Creative World and actually play around with Redstone and maybe even design a thing. I think I'm about to design my first Redstone contraption. Success! We've only gone and done it. So it's taken a good few hours. We've learned a lot about ourselves and a lot about redstone and a lot about water mechanics in Minecraft. But we have successfully designed ourselves our very first redstone farm type thing. Yeah, it makes pickles. It's probably a fairly useless farm, but we designed it all by ourselves, and it's very productive, and it works well, and it doesn't exist in this world yet. So, instead of showing you what we did in the creative world, I think I might just crack on and build it here. But that's not all. Being the super efficient Beardstone scientist that I clearly am, I also designed a very, very simple system for collecting and harvesting cocoa beans and stuff. It's just like a little washable farm thing. And I did that while we were in the creative world as well. So I think the plan is probably going to be to put both of those farms along this wall here. In order to get this to work, I know I need to save some space here, but I don't know how much, which is going to be for loading up all the storage that's going to go in there eventually. But I don't know how much space I need to save there. So what I might actually do is start from this end, because I don't have other things that need to go down here. I know for a fact that the sort of cocoa bean farm itself is going to be almost sort of 20 blocks long. So how far have we got along here? Okay, so we've got about 45 blocks along there. We're going to need a decent amount for the pickle farm, and we're going to need a decent amount for the cocoa farm. So I'm thinking I will do what I said. I'm just going to start this end. We're going to do the cocoa bean farm first, and then we're going to build up to the pickle farm down there, I think, because between them it shouldn't take too long to get them both done. What with my super science brain having designed them already. But in order to get the farms in here, the first thing I need to do is remove a lot of the walls. And yeah, quite a lot of this is going to have to come back out now, isn't it? Oh, jeez, right. Time to start digging. I've had a slight change of heart, but I have started on the digging. I've marked out roughly where the cocoa bean things are going to go, but I have actually decided to do the pickle farm first, because it's a lot more complicated than the cocoa bean farm, and I can adjust that one as necessary. But if I get all that stuff in place and then have to adjust this, it's going to be much more hassle. So my thinking is, I'm going to put it here, and this is roughly sort of the size and shape of where it needs to be. So this is going to be the collection platform, and what we're going to do is put another line of hoppers up here, and whatever we have on the front here, we're actually reflecting on the back as well. So what happens on the front here, as in where the pickles grow and how they move and how they get harvested and so on, exactly the same process is actually going to be happening behind as well, to double the amount of drops that we get. Okay, so I've marked out ready for the next bit, and what I need to do is go grab some redstone, because I actually forgot to bring that with me, which was a bit silly. We're also going to have lots of green shulkers, so we're actually going to have a line of green shulkers there, and another line there with some hoppers linking the two, and that's what our collection system is going to be, because usually when we have pickle orders, they are large orders, and to be honest, I want to keep it green, because I think it's going to look nicer, and hey look, I'm still a scientist. Okay, I've got my redstone, so we're going to start placing the pistons and things in. I'm not going to put the coral blocks in just yet, because obviously I will need to cover those in water to keep them alive. So for now, I think we'll just grab a random colour of concrete that we've probably got some of. Let's go with yellow. And I'm just going to put that in there to indicate where the coral is going to go. 4, 5, 6. And then we're also going to have a piece of coral there. and a piece of coral there, and they're going to be the seed pieces essentially. So these ones here are going to have pickles on, they're going to be covered in water, and it's all going to flow down, and everything's going to be lovely, wonderful, marvellous. But I do need to plug a few holes. So what we're going to do is use some green glass. I'm just going to put this over these blocks here for now. And then we're also going to block up the sides here. So that's going to allow us to control the flow of the water and make sure it's going exactly where we want it to be. And there we go, this back section here is now contained. We just need to do the same on the front, and then we can actually swap this out for the coral now and get the water in, and we can see roughly how the sort of basis of the system's going to work. Although in saying that, I've just run out of lime concrete, so we're going to go to our concrete maker first and get ourselves some more of that. So now we've got this bit done, what I need to do is to get the coral and water in. So this whole unit is pretty much enclosed now, so I've got a couple of holes in the roof just so I can drop in and sort out the coral and whatnot. And then after that, we need to start adding the redstone. So we need to hook up the pistons here, and the plan is to hook them around the back here to a hopper clock, which will only have one, maybe two items in, just to delay the pistons a little bit, and that will link up to both of them, so first them ones will fire, then these ones, and so on. And we also need to hook up the dispensers, and what I've done is I've designed it in such a way that I'll just be able to flick one switch here, and it will activate the entire system. First things first though, I need to add the coral, and I don't have any coral. So let's go get some coral. And we've got ourselves some corals, so the trick here is to get the coral down, quickly chuck some water on, and then what I need to do is remove the temporary blocks there, and that should spread out the water most ways, and then we just need to get the coral in the bottom. So we have to put 6 coral on each side, 4, 5, 6, oh no, 6, there we go. We need the water to run over the hoppers, so we put in a 7th one, which makes it all go like this, which is beautiful, and then we just remove that one again. The last thing to do in here is actually to plant a few pickles, and in classic Beardstone style, I've completely forgotten them. So we're going to quickly grab a few pickles, and I'm hoping we've actually got some just out here. There we go, and with the pickles in place, we are good to seal up this inside unit and crack on with sorting out the rest of the redstone. Now we've got the top all sealed up, the next thing to do is to carry on with the rest of the redstone. So the dispensers here are going to be fed via hoppers on this side, and we're going to sort out a system to actually deliver the bone meal to the correct place in a little bit, but for now we just need to make sure that we've got that started. And over here we just have a simple observer clock, so when that piston is powered, pushes this observer in front of this one, which creates a 1-tick pulse, and that just carries on loop, and yeah, that would keep firing the dispensers basically, which is what fires the bone meal into the sea pickles. So before we get to the loading system up the top here, I do want to sort out the hopper clock, which is going to be down the bottom. So we're going to quickly sort that out now. A short while later, and I've managed to get the redstone sorted, so now just by flicking this lever here, the coral goes to the left and the right, and the dispensers up there also fire. So if they had bone meal in at this moment, we would actually be producing pickles. So if we go around the back here, we can have a look at the redstone. It's fairly straightforward. So essentially that lever powers this block here, which then powers the piston, which pushes up the observer as the system I showed you earlier, which will then fire the dispensers. And it also powers this redstone line here, which then goes into this block to power this torch, which then unpowers this piston here, which enables the hopper clock to run. So if this bit here isn't powered, the hopper clock turns on. Next thing for me to do is to sort out the loading system, which I have made a start on here. So these 2 white shulkers are where you would put the bone meal, and they're going to go into this dropper here, and they will get shot into a water tube. So I now need to go up on top and direct that to actually go into the dispensers up there. I'm going to have a couple of storage areas for it as well, so that if we put too much bone meal in for the hopper chain and the dispensers to actually hold, it's not going to get wasted. And we are very nearly finished. I have both of the bone meal loaders working, and they are dispensing up there, going into the water tube, and as I say, they're filling into hoppers which feed into the dispenser over here, and we've got the same thing happening on this side as well from these 2 boxes. The last thing to do is to actually put in the collection shulkers. So I've got lots of shulker shells and chests, and I need to grab some green dye, but once we've done that, we can get all of this up and running. And there we have it. We now have the collection system complete as well, so all of these shulkers can be filled up with pickles, and in theory, if we flick this switch, it should start working, so fingers crossed. Well, it appears to be working. So we've only had this running for a couple of minutes, and as you can see, we are already getting plenty and plenty of pickles. So some of these boxes are getting full up quicker than the other ones because of the way that I've organised the hoppers around the back. But we have the front section here producing pickles, and if we jump up, we've also got the back section producing them as well. You can see them flying up in the background there. And the way it works is when you bone meal these pickles, it actually bone meals a certain amount of blocks around them as well. So with this shuffling backwards and forwards, that then breaks the pickles. They all get collected by the water, fed into here, and there we go. Pickles are plenty. I'm not going to lie, it's very loud, especially when the bone meal is loading up there as well. I've just turned off the main machine for now. We can let the rest of those pickles filter through, but I think it's safe to say we are not going to be short of pickles anytime soon. So now we have our pickle machine working. We know that we have all the pickles we could possibly desire, and I've not had a chance to deliver these to Jesse yet. So what we're going to do is repair this path that I've just damaged. So let's quickly do a little bit of that and a little bit of that. Marvellous. So we're going to go take these pickles over to Jesse's island, and we're going to leave a lovely little delivery for her. Easy. Over here at Jesse's, I think I'm just going to leave it here right at the exit to her portal. So let me quickly sort out the things that I need. So we also need to leave an invoice for Jesse. So let's just quickly get one of those going. Okay, and there we have it. Just a fairly simple invoice to let Jessie B know what is owed and what has been supplied. And we'll just stick that on the boxes there. And just so she definitely doesn't miss it, we'll leave a couple of pickle banners as well. Beautiful. I thought it'd be nice to leave a short message as well. So I've just put a few signs down. So we've got, "Hi Jessie, pickles as ordered. I hope you have as much fun placing them as I did growing them. I've attached an invoice here somewhere. Thanks, Mr. B." Yeah, I think it's safe to say she's not going to miss that. Sadly, that is all we have time for today, but we have done quite a lot. So we've managed to get our concrete maker finished down the bottom there. We've built a fish and squid farm, and we've also managed to get our pickle farm on the go just there as well. And Jessie B's just joined the game, so maybe she'll find the pickles now. Who knows? But either way, I must end the episode here, I'm afraid, because I need to go on holiday. But I did manage to get this episode done as well, so maybe there won't be quite such a big gap after all, which I'm very pleased about. The only thing we didn't quite get to was the cocoa bean farm, but I'm sure we'll do that sometime soon, because I still need the brown dye, let's be honest. It's the only one I'm missing now. If you have enjoyed today's episode, please do hit that like button, and if it's your first time here, please do also consider subscribing, and I will see you all on the next episode of Truly Bedrock. Bye-bye now.